How's it going, guys? Happy October 6th and welcome to my 31 Days of Halloween Marathon. Today I will be reviewing a pretty classic film, as you can tell by the title. And this movie's called The Wolf Man. You may have heard of it. If you haven't, then you're either a caveman or you don't watch movies at all. I'm not talking about the 2010 remake, which I will review tomorrow, but I'm talking about the 1941 original Universal monster film, The Wolf Man, where it's not one word like The Wolf Man, it's actually two separate words, The Wolf Man. So, yeah, I'm going to be reviewing that for you today. Do I really need to tell you the story about The Wolf Man? I don't think so, but you know what? I'm going to tell you a little bit about it anyways, and just in case some of you don't know, because, I don't know. I'm just going to tell you anyways. After his brother's death, a man named Larry returns to his hometown from America, and it turns out that one night he becomes attacked by this vicious werewolf, and he becomes bitten, and he eventually kills the werewolf, but, you know, his bite kind of like irritates him a little bit, and at night, at a full moon, he transforms into the Wolf Man, where he's actually a man who's a wolf-man hybrid, and he goes out and terrorizes the town, and, you know, you all know the story. I really don't need to tell you much more. It runs a time of 70 minutes, which is only an hour and 10 minutes. It really is not that long at all, and, you know, it's not torture to sit down and watch an old classic black and white movie. I know a lot of people don't like to watch black and white movies like this, myself including. I'm not a big fan of black and white movies, especially these ones that are like in the 30s or 40s. I understand they're cult classics and everybody needs to love them and respect them, because if it weren't for these, we wouldn't have the movies we have out now. But, I mean, you know, it does get boring because we're so used to the stuff we see nowadays, and we look at this and it's just very boring. But back then, like, this was some pretty scary, serious stuff. The effects were awesome back then. I mean, just, like, it was all practical, no CGI was invented yet, and the effects were just amazing. Not right now, they look pretty cheesy, but, you know, back then, like, in the 1940s, like, those effects were pretty cool. But now we have all this CGI, special effects, sound effects, green screen, we have all this fancy schmancy stuff that we stopped doing all this practical effects, and it's nice to watch a classic black and white movie every once in a while. I mean, come on. The Wolf Man is one of the Universal monster movies, the original classics. It's this, Frankenstein, the Mummy, Dracula, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, you know, all those good stuff. I'm also going to be reviewing Frankenstein sooner or later, so stay tuned for that review, but I'll probably review Dracula and the Mummy hopefully sometime next year for my next 31 Days of Halloween Marathon, but now, the movie has its slow parts, and, you know, it does get boring after a while, but, I mean, you just gotta sit down and really appreciate these kinds of films, because, again, without these films, we wouldn't have the movies out today, so you really gotta respect them for that. And for that reason, I'm gonna give The Wolf Man 4 pumpkins out of 5. I know some people would rate it like a perfect 5 out of 5 score, but, you know, as for me personally, I'm not a big fan of black and white movies. I do not mind watching them at all, but I would just much rather watch, you know, a movie with color, because that's what I'm used to nowadays. I wasn't born in the 30s or 40s, so I'm not really used to the black and white. I'm just a kid, but, I mean, it's a fun watch. I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, please go watch it. I mean, just go appreciate classic cinema. Alright, guys, up next, I will be reviewing the 2010 remake, and, stay tuned for that. Check out my other reviews, and I will see you guys later.